to DWRP News. I'm Prudence, and you were probably linked by one of your RP partners to this radio show, broadcast. Let's go with broadcast. If you weren't, then I am truly in awe of the power of YouTube this early in the game. Anyway, DW stands for Dream With, a journal-based community similar in premise to LiveJournal, MySpace, Zanga. Showing my age here. Okay, moving on. Yeah, public diary kind of deal, and most people use it like other social media sites to just find people with similar interests and have a good time. RP is the roleplay part of it. This branch of the online community uses, in general, one of these diary accounts per character and then joins games in which they get to play that character. That's the gist of it. I'm going to keep going because I seriously doubt many of you are newbies, but you'll catch on quick enough if you are. So everyone else, why a news broadcast? Well, can you believe we're coming up on 2 years with Dream With? It feels much longer to me. Only 2 years ago this December, the exodus, the great migration from LiveJournal to Dream With happened. In the ensuing chaos, a lot of the old go-to resources for keeping track of the greater RP world fell away. As far as I can tell, the only two left standing are Dearmun and App This Please. Plurk became the go-to social media for RPers with mod accounts created for some games, not all of them, but more than anything, the real-life networks between games still feels disjointed, at least to me. That's why I created this aggregate news broadcast. I might as well get straight down to the format. Every new broadcast will feature traffic updates, weather patterns, and an extra miscellany kind of segment, depending on the broadcast frequency, but I'll get to that later. Traffic will be the old standbys: reserve opening notices, application period opening notices, game opening notices, mod applications being taken, and so forth. For the smaller games with constantly open applications, I'll try to feature a few each time as alternatives to whichever games are opening, but might be too large or too fast for your preferences as a player. Weather patterns will be major events that the RP community at large can participate in, or may be affected by if they want to join a game soon-ish. So that generally means fourth wall events, crossover events, and test drive memes. It can also be real-life events like meetups at conventions. For game-specific plot events, I'll try to restrict these to ones that impact the whole game. Cool stuff, creepy stuff, bad end fallout, and it can include player plots too, if they're at that scale. I love hearing about that kind of stuff because frankly RP has always been a part of my life, and sometimes even with your own game you can miss it among the OOC composts. Now the miscellany part. If I end up adding more broadcasts per week, this section can get split up over the week. For example, Monday mod feature because modding is a thankless job, Widget Wednesday for mentioning LJ login or fun world building tips when making original characters or alternative universes, and Fanworks Friday for fan art or cosplay that people do specifically about RP threads. Other mentions could include Dream With downtime, discounts on paid accounts, or other notices like game anniversaries. That sort of miscellaneous fun stuff. Now, how often will these broadcasts show up? Well, that's really up to you listeners at home. I'm going to attempt weekly for now, but I can see a benefit in moving up to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule if and only if the interest level is there. I could only see the benefit to a daily broadcast if I was doing this as my full-time gig, which would be super awesome, let's not lie, but I know that's a distant hope for the future. I also don't see too much of an advantage to a Saturday or Sunday show right now. The weekend kind of takes care of itself, doesn't it? Given that so much RPing happens over the weekend, that means any news you need you already have by Friday or have the time to investigate on your own with a more vested personal interest. The other thing I will attempt to do, especially if you prefer it at a weekly pace, is to improve the visual interest. For now, this is purely functional, but I can do better. If you've watched any Culture Coacher or Worksite episodes, you know that already. The idea is to keep this low tech and consistent at first. That being said, I may leave your game or your event off my radar by complete accident. As I said, a lot slipped through the cracks in the Dream With move, and new games are popping up all the time. So over on Dream With, of course, I have set up pages not unlike a Dream With game where you can submit these news pieces. And that's how this will go. You can follow this broadcast on all of the major social media sites, Plurk, Tumblr, Twitter, and naturally Dream With or YouTube itself. I hope to hear from all of you very soon, and may the road always rise to meet you.